Success, baby. Let's get it. What's up, socials? Welcome back to Amy TV. We all want to know what the secrets to success are, no matter what we're trying to achieve in life. The only way that I was able to achieve anything that I really wanted, which God, it took me so long just to realize I wanted something different than what everybody was telling me I wanted. But when I did realize it, the only way I could make a change was to surround myself with people who had achieved some level of success in their own lives so that I could take some notes for myself. So I want to talk about that today, these habits that the most successful people that I've ever met or studied or observed at any point, read about, watched, what are they doing that's a little bit different than the average to achieve that success. Before we get started, make sure you subscribe to this channel if you want more advice on how to go after the life that you want. I upload every Wednesday and Sunday. I'd love to see you here for the next one. Here are 10 habits of highly successful people. Reviewing goals. Not only should you have goals, I think a lot of people do. You've probably thought, oh, I know I want to achieve these few things, and I know them in my head and I think about them every once in a while, but the most successful people are really reviewing them, maybe even handwriting them on a regular basis. I've actually seen tips in the past where somebody will write their goals 10 times each goal every single day, so they never lose focus on what they do throughout that day following writing down those goals. You're less likely to veer away from what you want to do and what's working toward the things you want in life if you are reviewing those goals on a super regular basis. Prioritizing sleep. This is a big one. So many people for the last, too many years, especially in the US, have talked about the fact that sleep is getting in the way of doing and that you need to work super, super hard and just get by with enough sleep. The reality is enough sleep is not just getting by, it's ample amounts. It's 7 to 8 to maybe even 9 hours, depending on what your lifestyle is. I personally feel like my sweet spot is like 7.5 hours. If I can have the dream, it's 7.5 hours. I wake up the next day feeling refreshed, feeling like I got a good night's sleep, and I can take it from there. But if you don't prioritize that sleep, then you're in a lot of trouble. If you end up working a late night, let's say, or you have a late night in any regard whatsoever, and you still want to wake up early the next day, you're not going to be doing yourself very many favors, because even if you do get up and you're like, oh, Amy, I woke up at 5, that's awesome, right? Well, not if you're not working at your highest level. If you only got 5 hours of sleep, 4 hours of sleep, that 5 a.m. wake up call is not really doing you any favors. So if you have a 5 a.m. aspiration, you need to be going to bed at the right time for you to get the right amount of sleep. This is not only going to make sure you have the right amount of energy and make you feel good, but it's going to help you lose weight. It's going to improve your life over the long term. There are so many reasons to prioritize sleep. And also, why do I need to convince anyone to prioritize sleep? That is like the ultimate invitation. Scheduling workouts. Everyone that I have met that is successful does something to stay active. Whether they have a ripped body or they're just super healthy, it doesn't matter. You are scheduling that time to make sure you get out of your chair when you're in front of your computer and do something. So I personally like to make sure I have a couple days of cardio on my calendar. I have a couple of days that are more strength training, so I have something across the board. I'll even try to schedule treadmill and tweets, which is where I just go and get on the treadmill for an hour and walk while I'm replying to tweets. Terrible for my neck, amazing for being active, but we work the rest of it out at the massage therapist. But if you don't make the time to work out, it's very easy to let that fall by the wayside. Do it when it makes sense for you. Obviously, we see a lot of research that says you should do it in the morning when you're at your highest level of productivity and you're awake and you're getting it out of the way. Your body is the most fresh and it's the best time for you to do it, but schedule it. If you actually add it to your calendar, you take it seriously, this is going to be a huge step for you in becoming a success. The amount of stress and ideas, that things that get released from just a good workout, it's too good to pass up. Reading. This is a tough one for a lot of people because if you don't like to read, if it bores you, I fall asleep reading all the time. It doesn't mean I like it any less. It's just kind of a great way to fall asleep, actually. These authors have taken all of their ideas and theses and they've put them in this amazing little 300-page manual. And I know because I've done it once and I put a lot of work into that. And I feel like that's such an amazing opportunity for you to get inside someone's head, especially another person who is successful on some level. You can really start to tap into that from what you can learn from them. Successful people make time for this because why bother learning everything the hard way if you can learn from someone who's had the experience? And I think that that's what reading offers. It also allows you to take yourself out of your usual and take yourself out of your own environment and immerse yourself in another one, which you could also say about TV or movies. And that's true, but I think that a book offers you a completely different option for this, something that's much more educational, much more thought-provoking, and you could really take your pick, but the most successful people are making a habit of reading every day, not watching a movie every day. Scheduling email. People who are successful do not live a reactive lifestyle. If they are checking their email first thing in the morning, which tons of amazing business people, CEOs, or just successful people overall do that, but they get in there with a purpose. They're looking for something that is super important to them, not important to someone else. That's what an email inbox is. It is everyone else's priorities, except for yours, a lot of the time. So scheduling that time to email people back is really important so that you can do all of your stuff, the stuff that matters to you first, big time, really important. Because if you get into your email and let that dictate your day, that is a fast way to not be successful. You do not want to set a precedent for being the fastest emailer back. That's a terrible idea because then that one time you don't do it, people are calling you saying, "Where's your response?" Oh my gosh, I love when people forward me an email saying, "Not sure if you got this," 4 to 24 hours later. Those people usually just don't get a response. Actually doing what they say yes to. This is so big and something I have recognized quite a bit in my career. The number of people who will say yes to something and I can just tell based on what I know about them and how long I've known them or just their demeanor that I don't think they're really gonna do it. And my gut is usually right on this. But I love to see those people who say yes to something because it is a fit and they're going to do it and then they actually do it. Something that my friends and my colleagues like about me is that if they ask me to do something, if I say yes, it is very, very hard up, like messed up situation for me to not end up doing that thing. I do what I say I'm going to do. So what's the flip side of that? Saying no when it's not a good fit. Successful people understand that they need to do what they say they're going to do, but they also don't have to do everything. And when those opportunities come in that you need to say no to, they know it, they say it, they get it out of the way, they're like, "Sorry, it's just not a thing I'm doing right now. Move on. Can I recommend somebody else? Is there something else I can do for you?" That would be a line. I just said no to something recently that a lot of people said I was kind of silly for doing, but when I looked at it and I thought, okay, it doesn't check all the boxes it needs to for me for it to be a yes. So technically it should be a no. So the only reason I'm going to say yes to this is because other people think it's a good idea. I haven't gotten very far based on what other people think is a good idea. So it's a no. Being disciplined when focused. When it is time to focus, when it is time to do, when it is time to get that thing off your plate that only you can manage, having your phone next to you, having a movie on in the background, having people bustling and talking around you is not going to get you anywhere. So being very disciplined about your environment, scheduling the time to do the thing, what's happening around you during that thing, what's not distracting you during that thing. I'm ready to put my phone in the freezer most of the time. If only it would work if I pulled it out after that. I mean, I just don't even need it around me until it is time to play and to just make Instagram things that look pretty. Like, I just don't need my phone otherwise. As a matter of fact, I got a great Instagram story, or actually it was a DM that I made an Instagram story a couple days ago. Somebody sent me on how to turn all of iMessages off. And I'm this close. Like, I am so close. iMessages, I don't have Twitter on. I don't have Instagram on. I don't need that stuff. I'm going to check it anyway. Be disciplined when it is time to focus, because that thing that you think could have taken you days or weeks might only take you a number of hours because you don't let anyone get in your way. Being surrounded by positive influences. My favorite quote about this is by Jim Rohn. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Really think about who those 5 people are. If you watch a lot of like motivational talks by one particular person, that might be one of your 5 people. Another person might be someone you live with. Another person might be a dog. In my life, The dog is definitely a half of a person, I think. But who are those 5 people? Because when you start to look at that, write them down and really reflect on the characteristics of them and how they are falling onto you. How are you better? How are you worse? How are you just okay? How are you mediocre? How are you amazing? What characteristics of others are factoring into you and your productivity and your personality and everything? And reanalyze how many of those people shouldn't be in your top 5. Remember top 5s? What is it, top 8s? Was it MySpace had top friends? It's kind of like that, except for your mind. And number 10, prioritizing me time. This is an introvert's favorite, for sure. But I think a lot of extroverts need this as well. And I know that successful people realize when they need to take themselves out of every other situation. This is very similar to a lot of the other tips that we've talked about, but the reality is you need that me time. That me time could be that binging Netflix thing that you need. Or maybe you take yourself on a date in the park, go get some ice cream. What does me time look like for you? Allow yourself to have that moment. Because when we start giving every single minute away to everybody else, we lose ourselves. So hopefully we're not doing that because we're disciplining our time, and when we're getting focused, we're able to do that. But if every other second of the day outside of work is for everyone else and not for you, how does that feel? Like, genuinely, can you say that's your life right now? How does that feel? Because I can't imagine that you're feeling very successful by allowing yourself to reflect on what you've been doing and where you want to go next, if that's the case. Those are 10 habits of highly successful people. I would love to hear of a really successful habit that you know of and that everybody should know of. Leave that in the comments below. If you enjoyed these tips, make sure you give the video a thumbs up. I'd love to hear if you want to hear 10 more tips, and maybe we can make this a whole series. Leave the comment "more please" in all caps in the comments below as well. I'll be looking for that to see if we should do more of this. That's all for today's socials. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate it as always. Make sure you subscribe for good vibes, and remember to continue to go after the life that you want. Cheers.